Hello everybody and welcome back to WCS America Premier League round of 32 action in the second last group of this entire process that we started a couple of weeks ago. So far the round of 32 has been nothing but awesome. We had a lot of upsets, we had fan favorites coming through as well, like even a day like yesterday. You know, I'm a little bit sad that C didn't make it, and even, well, who was the fourth player in the group? It was awesome. Well, we had Hart, Scarlet,
Hart, Scarlet, Seed, and Toodming, man.
Oh yeah, and Toodming. Like, you know, even though Toodming and Seed didn't make it, they're both awesome. You know that there are so many fans out there that really like...
I miss hanging out with Toodming.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be sad for us, but Hart and Toodming, even a result like that, it's just like our round of 16 looks better than it has done all 6 seasons. I would almost say combined, because this round of 16 is so awesome.
This is actually the best round of 16 I think that we've had so far, by far, for WCS America, and it's really cool. And We've really enjoyed going through these games. We have another cool match coming up, HerO versus XiGua, and of course, we don't know if you guys are also... do you guys agree with us? It's like, no, actually, I preferred... It's like, I happen to be a closet Pig Baby fan. When he won, that was the greatest season ever.
I mean, the playoffs of Season 2 were perhaps the best playoffs that we've seen.
Yeah.
And the final between Pig Baby and Bomber, that was the best final that WCS America has ever seen.
Yeah.
Because the season before that, we had Hyun against us. That was not a bad final. I would have rated like 7 out of 10. Season 3 last year, we had Polt versus Bjol. That was Bjorn with the Zerg. I always confuse them.
Bjorn is the...
Bjol.
No, now I'm questioning myself. Bjol.
Bjol is the Zerg.
You're making me think of... I was thinking of like Bjorn, Hyun, and Bjol all at the same time. And
I know, like Bjol, the Zerg player that went back to Kaspar, or like, well, went back to Korea. And before that, of course, Season 2, we had Polt and Jaedong. And Season 1 last year, we had HerO win against Revival. Like, you know, the majority of those finals were okay. Polt Jaedong on paper was awesome. The games were a little one-sided, but boy, oh boy, was a final awesome last season. Pig Baby versus Bomber. I rate that final 9 out of 10. If you haven't seen that final yet, if you just joined us, actually getting a lot of tweets in the last few days as well about people that's like, man, I haven't been watching StarCraft 2 in a while, just got back, and it's good to see you guys are still active in the scene. It's good to see that the scene is still fun. If there's just like, if you have a couple of hours to kill and you want to watch a good final, you want to watch Pig Baby vs. Bomber, because it was awesome.
Yeah, if you're on a night, if you're on a cold, lone night, there's no StarCraft on, watch Pig Baby versus Bomber finals. If you've already seen it, go watch it again, because who doesn't like seeing carriers, tempests, and should I even spoil more than that?
No, I think that's pretty much all we have to say. In the finals of a Premier League tournament, we had carriers, we had tempest, we had it all.
We pretty much had it all. So this series is going to start off on Deadwing for this PvZ. Kev, we've seen some cool stuff on Deadwing. Does any of that exist in this matchup, though? Mostly Terran players have been innovative on this map.
No, definitely. Yeah, I mean, didn't we see Jim go for the double cannon rush over here? Nexus first into cannon rush?
He did. Okay. Would HerO do that? That'd be so sick.
All right, so both players are ready. I can go ahead and fire up the game. Good luck, have fun. They're both awesome gentlemen. Both players that, of course, know how it is to make it to the round of 16. XiGua has done it twice so far in his career. He was part of all the action. He was even last season. He was in round of 16 as well, right? Then we have like Toodming and XiGua qualified for the round of 16 last season.
Yeah, I believe so.
I know he definitely made it to Germany.
No, of course XiGua was here because he played the sick game against Hart.
That is correct, Nate.
I'm like, how could I even forget the game that we were like, well, you know what?
Yeah, yesterday well, how can you even forget? Maybe because of the last 50 days of your life, 46 of them have been casting Premier League StarCraft 2 tournaments, Nate.
That's true.
And then the degenerates that we are, we like to go home and cast more StarCraft 2 to make sure that we get really confused about everything that's going on.
We had a lot of fun casting in the last 24 hours, to say the least.
Just, we're very lucky to do what we do. Either way, the series is live. Our second best of 3 of the day. You're watching WCS America Premier League round of 32. And it is a big one for this very handsome gentleman on the left top side of that wing. It is, of course, Liquid's very own HerO. Now, if you guys have been watching Season 2 very actively, when we go into the round of 16, we often recap the round of 32 and we talk about upsets. And for the last 2 seasons, pretty much every single broadcast that we opened and we went over the upsets, it's like, guys, we had a lot of upsets this season. You know, even an established player like HerO and Jaedong, they have dropped out. Now, Jaedong has finally broken the curse after being eliminated in the round of 32 twice this year. And now, of course, the ball is in the HerO's corner to prevent from being eliminated 3 times in the round of 32. And once again, you know, for some people, making it to Premier League round of 32 3 seasons in a row, that is impressive. That is, you know, that is definitely nothing to be ashamed of, but we just expect more from an established tournament champion like HerO, and I think, you know, he has spoiled us in that regard. We just know what he's capable of, and we know that someone who's able to win pretty much every single tournament that he enters, he is not supposed to drop out in the round of 32 twice, and of course, hopefully not for him 3 times.
Yeah, I completely agree. We have high expectations of the players in this group, especially, of course. Red Zerg player on the bottom left, representing Invictus Gaming. He is XiGua. Invictus Gaming, pretty cool team. Yeah. I think they've done a phenomenal job of getting their name out there, especially to the non-Chinese StarCraft scene. You guys have been tuning into a lot. You've probably seen quite a few of these guys competing in WCS and a few other tournaments.
Yep, the StarCraft 2 squad is definitely the strongest in China. They have a couple of very strong teams in other games as well. You know, a couple of the MOBAs that are out there. Invictus Gaming is a force to be reckoned with. They're good. Of course, we like Jim and Max said, but XiGua has been making a name for themselves as well. WCS HerO gave us hashtag Roddy Micro. I am not sure if we want to give him the Roddy Micro, guys. If you have the best interest in HerO, then the last thing you want to do is give him Roddy Micro. Just
maybe if you had Tempest, then the Roddy Micro could work.
That is the one time where I will say, HerO, you need some Roddy Micro. Or 3 Stalkers early on. 11 gate into 3 Stalkers, but...
Yeah, it's funny when you see players. It's like you get into weird situations in your own games, and then you watch the pros play, and you're like, well, this is a really awkward situation for a normal professional game of StarCraft 2. You're like, I feel like this situation happens to me enough that I might actually know what to do better. You ever see something like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously very rare occasion, because if I would see it all the time, I'd be better at this game. But I do know what you mean. There are like rare substances where, for pros, it's very rare to find themselves in a situation like that. Yeah. That's kind of like what would happen if, like, let's say Cats and Sorky play some really bizarre game where they actually trade bases and then they're both left with like 4 drones.
And it's like, I actually favor Cats over Sorky because Cats does this every other game.
Exactly, you know? So it's one of those rare moments. It doesn't happen very often, but some players are just experts in crazy things. Just like I sincerely believe that Galzi and Widowmins are probably better cannon rushes than the majority of the Kespa Protoss out there.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man.
But obviously, as soon as the first Zealot is on the field, I favor the Kespa Protoss again.
That one Zealot becomes a god. Really fast 3 bases here for XiGua. Is he gonna go full Toon Ming? Are we gonna see mass drones? What was it? What was the drone count at? He was pushing. He got pushed at what, 10 minutes with 3 gateways, and he had 80 drones or something.
It wasn't that bad. You mean Toon Ming yesterday?
Yeah, Toon Ming on Overgrowth. He had a crazy amount of drones.
Yeah, he had like 64 drones. Above all, he only had two Zerglings. He just didn't really make anything. That's why he died against the first Oracle.
He only made drones.
He went Liquid Red Star in 2011 European Battle.net Invitational. That's the good old days where Red always had like 102 drones, and everybody's like, man, Red is the king of drones. It's like, well, yeah, nobody attacks him. No wonder Red won that tournament. Of course, he was very good as well, but he was opening up with 103 workers every single game. And Torzen is like, well, I can Hellion arrest him, but I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
In the post game in StarCraft 2 client, you can see your build order, and you look at Rets, and it was actually just drones and Overlords.
Yep, nothing else.
So Stargate opening for HerO. I think this is a HerO build, right? We've seen him do this time and time again. Not scouted though. This Overlord doesn't get a chance to see it for XiGua.
Nope. But I think that XiGua is one of the players that has done his homework, and if he didn't, then I know that Edison, the manager of Invictus Gaming, is definitely trying to serve sort of the purpose of like a real coach, not just booking flights and whatnot. But I know that Edison also helps out his players. He goes over replays of the opponents that they have in WCS America, and he tries to help them and tries to show them like, all right, there's a good chance that HerO is going to do this. And I think it's pretty well known that HerO loves his target openings, especially if he feels like he is the better player.
Yeah. Well, what's your favorite follow-up to this? Because he's going to take the 3rd base, so I want to believe it's either... We've seen second Oracle become slightly more common in the recent meta, but I think Void Ray is still okay. And if he's feeling, I guess, particularly greedy, he might even just go for a fast Robo instead of getting that tech, but...
Yeah, I don't know. He fires up a Void Ray now. That could be a safety Void Ray.
I like the safety Void Ray.
Yep. I think it's just going to be a robotics facility and then eventually a Blink Stalkers +2. He could also add 2 more Stargates, but it doesn't really feel like Liquid HerO to me. There's a Sport Roller in every base, so HerO is going to have to be very careful with his only Oracle.
Yeah, just walks in, kills the drone, walks out. not really too much going on there. But of course, there's the the intangible, I guess, benefits of that. And wow, he's gonna go to triple Stargate.
Yep, it is 2 additional Stargates for HerO. It's a build that is obviously strong, but I mean, it is one of these builds that's really hard to kill. It's pretty strong defensively, especially if HerO gets a few sentries as well. Then Force Fields and Void Rays, they complement each other very well, especially if you have Cannon out there, Photon Overcharge. Spire, oh, that could work.
Now
Nate.
this is a bit cheeky, I'd say, Rotstem.
That's a little cheeky, Nate.
So, this is a very difficult...
Bloody Zergs out there, Nate.
Yeah, this is a very difficult tech to scout. For obvious reasons, it's not very close to the base. But against triple Stargate, Kev, I just don't know.
Where is this Void Ray going? If this Void Ray will somehow scout this Spire because he's looking for an Overlord, that would be redonkulous.
I'd actually
be mad.
I'm sure a lot of people watching would be like...
Alright, so now this is really smart, guys, because why is he proxying the Spire? Of course, we have to explain a little bit. This is really cool, because this Oracle is going to see the Hydralisk Den, it's going to see Zerglings. XiGua might even make a few Hydralisks. So HerO thinks like, alright, he's going to play Hydras, he's going to try to kill my Void Rays with Hydras. However, there is one unit out there that is very, very good against the Void Ray, and that is the Mutalisk. But of course, XiGua doesn't know about Stargate number 2 and 3 yet, so this could still theoretically work if he wants to go into a massive hidden Muta switch, but he's gonna have to do it on the moment, Nate, that his Muta count is going to be absolutely overwhelming. Like, he's gonna have to produce like 26 Mutalisk at once, something ridiculous like that. And I know I'm pushing it then, I'm pushing my luck, but he really needs that, because if he just flies in with like 11 or 14 or 15, it is too little. If HerO produces 3 Phoenixes at a time, he's gonna have the time of his life. He's even gonna have +1 already.
Do you feel like he's building these Mutas too fast?
Yep.
He's got 12 on the way right now.
Yeah, he's building them way too fast. That's just... I mean, of course, XiGua doesn't know about Stargate number 2 and 3. If Stargate number 2 and 3 weren't there, this makes a lot of sense. However, doing it now against Stargate number 2 and 3... Okay, well, if he gets the Mothership Core... Uh-oh.
This could actually work now. He sees it. HerO sees it. He knows.
He's gonna go for the Mothership Core. Immediate recall. Good recall. See if he has a few more Mutalisks.
And look at that now. Phoenix are on the way. I imagine we'll see probably the Fleet Beacon very soon as well. Wonder where he does get caught, which I guess, it's something.
Yeah, but like, what do you do now if you're XiGua? Do you keep producing Mutalisk against the 3 Stargate? He's going to see the amount of Stargate soon. He still doesn't know. He probably thought like, hey, that's a few more Void Rays than I expected. Photon Overcharge will probably go down immediately, but bam, here we go. 3 Phoenixes immediately, and all these Void Rays as well.
So much already prepared by HerO to defend against this. It's like almost not even fair, really. He's got cannons for days at that 3rd base. This is just not... You actually can't harass even these bases with this few Mutalisks.
Nope. And like, this would have still been a very good move for XiGua if this would have been a standard HerO play where he goes 1 Stargate, maybe makes a safety Void Ray, but then ignores the Stargate, goes Robotics Facility, Twilight Console, because then 15 Mutalisks can still grow very steadily up to like 30-something Mutalisks. But it was a triple Stargate opening, something that XiGua just did not scout. He took a small risk, he tried to trick HerO, but in a weird way he actually tricked himself.
Yeah. Now the Void Rays are ready for another hit. He is continuing to produce a lot of Phoenix as the Hydralisk count starts to loom again. Is this a potential threat? Oh, he's just going to snipe this base. He's about to prismatically align this hatchery.
Yep, there are a lot of Hydralisks getting out there, so HerO has to be careful. Soba is doing a really good job in picking off of these Hydras. Of course, Phoenixes do a lot of damage. At the same time, XiGua is still counter-attacking a little bit as well on the top side of the map, but HerO has a lot of cannons, so that's really not that important, guys. What is important is that XiGua is seriously lacking anti-air now, and with 7 Hydralisk and 3 Mutalisk, he's not gonna save this hatchery.
Yeah, I don't know what he's supposed to do. Like, he's got 17 Hydras finishing up in the next minute, so... yeah, I guess he can fight the Void Rays right now, but all he really needs to do is not walk in too far, right? Just don't overextend yourself with the Void Rays.
No. I mean, HerO can just like keep chipping away at the majority of these units, and it doesn't really matter. Even if he ends up losing a unit or 2, like, how is XiGua actually going to win the game with the current tech that he has? Is he going to march across the map with a bunch of Hydralisk into all these cannons, into Photon Overcharge, and soon to be a Colossus? Like, I hate to sound anticlimactic, but I just don't really see a way for XiGua to possibly win this game.
Yep, it's going to be very difficult. He's moving out a lot of Hydralisks. He's got the Zerglings, but like you said, Kev, a lot of Phoenix, A lot of energy for lifts. Lots of photon cannons to help defend. And this observer can see the army coming. These Hydralisks, man, moving in. Well, the Zerglings, they can't break this by themselves.
Nope. XiGua is at 170 supply, but it's a little deceiving because the supply is really not all that strong. The
what's this Colossus doing?
Okay, well that is a way that he can win this game. I did not expect HerO to do that.
Well, there's no escape for the Hydra as HerO wants to fight here and now, picking up as many of them as he can with this Phoenix. Reinforcements, though, coming in and getting some of these gateway units from behind.
Phoenix is still doing okay. How many Hydralisks are
The Void Ray
left?
count is getting demolished, though. He's going back into a couple mutas, too, here.
But in the end, 2 Void Rays will survive. So that fight, without the Colossus, the fight actually became a lot closer than it should have been. But during all this, HerO is still harassing as well, sending a few Zealots. This Oracle has gathered a sweet amount of energy, Nate. The kill works for days. I pulse a beam all day, every day, every day. That's what everybody's saying.
He's one ripped Oracle, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. All the gains. He's like, yeah. Guys, I know normally I run out of steam after like 12 seconds, but this time I can go for days, baby. All night long.
Roach speed's on the way. +1 attack for XiGua's Hydralisks and Roaches as well. That Hydra died a horrible death. But these Phoenixes have been doing some really good harass. I love how much they've been able to bounce all of XiGua's drones around because he can't really find a safe base to mine at.
HerO is going to make 3 more Void Rays, so he's going to sit on Void Ray Colossus. And as we all kind of know, something we have learned since day 1 of Wings of Liberty, you're going to have a hard time killing Void Ray Colossus, especially with Storm on the way as well, if you're just on Roach Hydra. This is something that, I mean, I'm sure there are a couple of brilliant Idra quotes about Roach Hydra versus Void Ray Colossus.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful story being told about a game on Shakura's Plateau.
Some not real Void Rays. So the Phoenix are continuing to harass.
That was Metalopolis, Nate. Come on, maybe you start with this.
I'm sorry, Roddy. He's got so many spore crawlers here and still can't stop him. He sees that the Hive is on the way. He actually has enough Phoenix to probably harass with one, pull back the weakened one, and then the shields will regenerate on it by the time he cycles through all of his Phoenix. Like he could actually just not stop harassing ever.
Yep. Like it's really funny how Mutalisk are the harass unit and Phoenix they're not really seen as the harass unit, but if you have a bunch of Phoenixes and there's just nothing to stop them and they all get robbed 200 energy, they kill workers like as quick as Mutalisk do. Phoenixes are a tiny bit trapped now, so a few of them will get picked off, but above all, HerO's buying a lot of time for himself.
He's got Storm now.
Yeah. The only thing that XiGua has going for himself, Nate, is that it's not soon to be a tier 2 Zerg anymore. He will actually have his Hive tech. Hive tech, of course, means that XiGua can add a few Vipers to the mix, and Vipers are good units. Abducts can save the day, but like you said, it's not just Colossus anymore. It's Storm as well, and, you know, Colossus are good against Hydras, but Storm is not exactly a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
HerO is playing such a funny style against Zerg lately.
I guess we talked about the cannons too much at the start of this game, huh?
Yeah.
He's like, you want cannons? I'll give you cannons.
How many did you order, sir? Well.
These cannons aren't mine. What are you talking about?
HerO still active with his Warp Prism as well. Unfortunately, he is supply blocked, so he can't warp in anything. XiGua will be forced to keep a few
Warp Prism, 1 hit point.
Very annoying.
Very scary for the
I can
Warp
see
Prism
this
driver.
1 HP Warp Prism one day coming back and killing this Hive with a bunch of Warp Prisms.
You're gonna go far, kid.
Yep. It's like, as long as he's a chip in the chair, he's still in this bad boy, Nate. Still win the World Series.
Fleet Beacon on the way, Blink and a Dark Shrine moves. Oh, nice feedback immediately on that Viper, moving forward. And
Colossus are a little bit exposed, but the Storms are raining all over this Roach Hydra army.
The Storms are looking pretty damn good, Rotterdam. He's got just 2 Colossi left, so he's actually getting close to these. Maybe a bit closer than he wanted his opponent to get, I think. I'm surprised he was able to kill the Colossi. That wasn't bad at all.
It wasn't the worst, but in the end, if you take a look at the units lost resource tab, 11,900 resources lost against 22,000. The reason why the supply looks close is because XiGua just burned his entire bank on 35 Hydralisks. 35 Hydralisks might actually be enough to kill all those air units, though.
Well, not if they're spawning right in the face of Zealots.
That's true.
A couple of them already dying.
Yeah, HerO has to be a tiny bit
Prism,
careful.
Man.
Don't lose your... oh my god, he's losing the edge. But I think HerO's going to end up losing quite a few Void Rays over here. The Viper does die. Of course, Hydra's off creep are not that fast, but they're probably still a little bit quicker than Void Rays. Look at these Void Rays, Nate.
No, they're taking the path. They're taking the path right on the edge of this creep where those Hydras can get the last bit of that speed boost they get from it.
HerO has to be a tiny bit careful, because if HerO loses this game, that would be completely the most unnecessary loss in history. XiGua has still lost 10,000 resources more. HerO's okay. Yes, how many storms? How many storms are we looking at? Actually, not all that many. HerO is in a little bit of trouble. There is a Colossus. Don't do it again, HerO.
Okay, this one's actually fighting.
There are
defensive Dark Templar too.
That's sick because he has so many Phoenixes as well, so he can snipe overseers for days. How are you gonna get detection, Zerg, brother?
Oh man, if this army gets stuck, that Colossus was walking really weird. But moving forward again. I guess denying if does he think he's? Does XiGua not? He doesn't know about that right side base. He actually thinks that HerO's on three bases.
This one is really hard to attack into regardless, though.
I mean, yeah, that's Templar.
It's like 2 storms and an Oracle.
You have Dat Oracle. That's not just any Oracle.
No, this is the Oracle that went to the gym and came back. He's like, yeah.
Gains are real. He's building up that energy again.
You can see it, man. All these, how do you call them? I forgot. Never mind. Tried to go all scientific there, but I forgot. Molecules connecting with each other. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Alrighty, so Pathogen Glance is on the way for XiGua as well, who's really trying to hang in there like a champ. The Zealots have sniped the Spire, by the way.
It's like the most random Spire snipe.
Yeah.
Well, it was out there on the map.
Alright, day 3, we did find a Spire, we took it out. No more Mutalisk, but never think there are no more Mutalisk, Nate. Oh, the drone! Alright, that's a nice little pickup for XiGua.
That's not your average harass force. It's like 3 DTs with that. 7 infestors are on the way, Kev. We're gonna see some fungals. How big? How much of an impact do you think the fungals will have? Maybe if the Void Rays and the Phoenix.
I mean, if all of the Void Rays and Phoenixes clump up, Fungo is definitely a comeback unit. It's still going to be very difficult regardless, but a perfect spread on the Hydralisk, Roaches annihilating Colossus from behind, and all the air units stacking up. That's when XiGua is going to win. I mean, like, HerO is, like, I really felt that HerO got a little reckless when he stepped on creep. There was really no need for him to lose all of his Colossus. Above all, there were 0 reinforcement pylons across the map. Like, he maybe still had the Warp Prism, but I don't think he was, he was warping in Zealots to arrest, but he wasn't reinforcing his main army. Now, double Spire going down, I think he's gonna cancel it. I think it was a fake. Alright.
Oh, man. Well, this is kind of why we were talking about attacking this base being difficult, but it looks like he has enough without the main army being here.
Oh,
the recall. Actually, very good choice.
He's
and
gonna storm for
those storms were. Oh, that was ugly to watch.
Okay, actually, most of the Hydralisk got picked off. In the end, XiGua still loses so much supply. He still lost a lot of drones again at home as well.
Zealots are working on the rocks, or the natural too.
Fungal. The Phoenixes are coming back. The Phoenixes could potentially pick up maybe a few units, but of course you don't want to get fungled here.
Not bad. Gets for the Phoenix.
That's something.
Hey man, these Phoenix have been like champs all game long. I want them to be dead too. Man. Zealots are in the natural expansion. DTs at the 4th base. Oh man, these drones die so fast.
This is just like HerO is actually winning 2 games in 1 over here because it's such a mental victory, beating your opponent down like this for like 27 minutes. And every single time when it almost looks like XiGua has a small chance in this game again, HerO just completely demolishes his army.
And HerO builds lots of photon cannons to defend his bases as well.
HerO as PvZ has turned really funny. He's like the most patient player.
This is actually really cool though, because I imagine, you know, when I play Protoss, when I see players in lower leagues, like they really like photon cannons to defend. Some people would say, well, they're bad, but HerO's showing, he's like, no man, just build cannons everywhere.
Can definitely help, makes things a lot more
tricky.
He has
16 photon cannons on the map.
Fungals could land. The Fungal is very good, but the Storms are even better. And, well, that's going to be it for this Zerg army. Everything melts, everything dies, and HerO will pick up game number 1 on Deadwing in a pretty convincing way. I know it looked like a 27-minute game that it was back and forth, but in my opinion, it was pretty much over as soon as all the Mutalisks died, like the first time. If you switch into 14, 15 Mutalisks and you're just not doing like almost anything with them, you're gonna have a very hard time.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point when you mentioned 2 very, very key things. First of all, he didn't wait to build a lot of Mutalisks. Like just 10 or 12 is difficult, I think, to make work even against a non-3 triple Stargate opener. Although certainly it would have been easier in that case. But then he didn't scout that. Maybe he didn't build. He didn't like send an overseer in when his lair completed. Like I feel like there's just a couple of things that He should have at the very least been able to scout it by the time that he had his lair out, no?
One time he was so close as well because he actually had Zerglings that could have ran all the way in, but they were instead harassing the third base, so they were like killing a few probes, but they died against the photo cannon. It's just a little bit unfortunate. XiGua tried to trick HerO, but in the end he tricked himself. It really worked out well. How different is this game if he does the exact same thing, but HerO goes for a Robo in the Twilight behind that single Stargate? It's a pretty different game because then you get a Robo Bay, you probably start your first Colossus by the time the Phoenixes fly, or the Mulas fly in, so you research thermal lands, probably Blink is on the way, +2 is on the way, so you just put all this money in places where it's not going to help you immediately to defend against the Mutalisk. And even then, if it's only 13 or 14 Mutalisk, they're going to kill your Void Ray, they're going to kill a few Stalkers you warp in, they're going to kill a few probes, they're going to bait out 2 photon overcharges. So you're looking at a different game, and above all, XiGua has so much time to let 12, 13 Mutalisk go into 26, 28 Mutalisk, because that's how fast it goes, you know, a minute later, and he's almost there. However, against 3 Stargates, it's really, really hard to make it work. You know, Mr. Bitter once upon a time played a show match against Hydra, and then he tried to do like this exact thing, but Hydra had 3 Stargates as well, so it was like, Bitter is like going for his epic Muta switch, and then Hydra has like 12 Phoenixes. It's like, well, Ben, I don't know, Ben. It's the only time I said that I didn't know.
Crazy to think how different Mutalisk versus Phoenix was, though, back then. The old days, Wings of Liberty. Lots of things have changed for that, no?
Mm-hmm.
No range upgrade. Both units were actually slower, less range, I think, on the Phoenix.
But if you're on even economy, it's always good to make Phoenixes. The only thing that was a little more tricky back then is that Fungal was even better. So
yeah.
just because like you have a lot of Phoenixes.
Point and click Fungal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, top. It's like, well, now you're stuck.
Just
when I thought I had my anti-air. I really thought I was there, guys. I really thought I was there.
All right, so Overgrowth is the next map. What does HerO do here? You think he's going to open up with that pylon on the low ground? Maybe a forge?
HerO actually writing in the lobby, sorry, Nate, I will answer your question as soon as I'm done. I was just distracted. He said like, oh, my wrist is so painful. That's like worries me a little bit because I haven't really heard HerO complain about wrist in the past. So I hope he's all right.
Yeah.
Especially makes me wonder why he's playing such a long game then when I felt he really could have won that game like 10 minutes before that.
So that's why he builds photon cannons. It's like, man, it's like I don't want to move around too much. Get more static defense.
Now, HerO is a type of Protoss as well that has been switching it up a lot. We casted his games against Ian in WCS America Challenger. 3 games in a best of 5, all 3 games completely different HerO. Game 1, triple Stargate play. Game 2, he made an Oracle into a 7-gate all-in very quick. That was on merry-go-round. And the Game 3, I think it was just some straight-up gateway, expand, and then like expand again with Blink Stalkers or maybe a little bit of a Salad Harassment. I don't know anymore exactly. What I do know, it was 3 completely different builds by Liquid HerO. So I think he's going to play different this game as well.
He mixes it up a lot. That's true. That's true. We're loaded into Overgrowth. I'm excited to see what he's going to go for. He just needs 1 map win to go up to the winner's bracket and play against his teammate, whom I'm sure he really doesn't want to play versus. In the bottom left position, he is that Protoss player, sporting blue, the wonderful colors of his team, Team Liquid. He is HerO.
Just released that incredibly sexy white jacket. What a jacket, Nate.
They are pretty nice.
Did you see the promo clip as well with TLO walking through a DreamHack or something?
Yeah.
Then he gives the wink. He's like, oh boy. Oh boy. It's a cool video though. It's a really cool jacket. Over here on the right top side of the map, we have our Zerg player representing Invictus Gaming. It is XiGua. XiGua has had a better WCS 2014 than our Liquid HerO, but still I would say that he's the underdog in this group as well, just whenever you see these 2 guys going up against each other. It's a very quick drone scout this time, and it makes me wonder what he's going to do with it. If he's going to try to block the hatchery, or if he's worried about cannon shenanigans from HerO. HerO is not really your cannon rusher.
No. I mean, he's done it before. He's been prone to it in the days past.
Game
Looks like XiGua just needs a quick pause. Hopefully everything's all right. No computer and net issues. Goodness knows. Maybe he's got some old school dial-up modem. Someone's calling him. He's like, he's got to send someone a message over like AOL Instant Messenger. He's like, hey man, I'm in a game. Please don't call me.
Alright, so we're just gonna wait a few seconds, make sure that XiGua is good to go. Of course, we hope that he doesn't lag too badly. The Chinese players, when they have to play cross-server on the American server, it's pretty difficult for them. Not impossible, though, as both Tutming and XiGua and Maxet and Jim have qualified for the round of 16 multiple times. So they definitely know, you know, in what kind of conditions they have to play. But sometimes it is a little better than others. It's just like for you and me out there, for all your ordinary Joes. Some days your internet is amazing, and some days, Nate, you're watching a slideshow.
Yeah.
You just don't understand.
Happens to the best of us, Roddy. Next is first. I guess not surprising. HerO's kind of shown a tendency. Oh, you know what? Screw it. Every Protoss has shown a tendency towards this build recently.
So there's a chance that XiGua maybe uses this drone like Hyun style. He goes hatch first with his first drone, and the scouting drone makes his way back and then actually morphs into another hatchery. He uses a different drone for it because I guess this drone was a little late to the party. So it's going to be a double hatch before pool over here from XiGua. Something that I'm not sure if HerO saw. I'm not sure if HerO saw that second drone leave. What he did know is that there was this hatch first, of course. He saw the hatch timing, he saw the main base, no spawning pool. The spawning pool is late.
Yeah, there's not really anything that HerO can do about this anyway. He just wants this probe to be here and instill some fear in the heart of our Chinese Zerg.
If he would warp in a cannon next to this hatchery, I think that XiGua would be a little paranoid. But he would probably just wait and see. He's like, alright, well, we'll see where you take it.
And the pylon finishes like, yeah, well, now you just have a pylon in my base.
Oh, drone is on follow, by the way.
Yeah.
No, actually just on hold position.
There's one drone just kind of chilling.
Yeah, it's like the little drone.
Would you mind? I got my minerals. I want them for myself.
This is my mineral. I mind them myself. Why you always want to take my mineral away?
The drones don't ever really get anything for all the work they put in.
Alright, so spawning pool is about to finish up for XiGua. No extractor yet, by the way. That is dicey against HerO. Of course, HerO did go. Nexus first, followed with the gateway. Cybercore is not even done yet, so it's not like you can just start whopping in gateway units in the immediate future. But still, if I was XiGua, I wouldn't wait too much longer with my extractors. I really wouldn't like to see him drop him any later than like 5:30. If he does that, then I feel like he's just asking HerO to punish him for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him drone up again, but... Oh, okay, the gas. Oh, he
canceled it.
Was that to just squeeze out another... No, he wasn't supply blocked.
I think he just changed his mind. Like, I can start mining gas, or I can go a little more greedy.
It's like, which option would make Rotterdam more frustrated?
No, not at all. I'm never frustrated with XiGua. The IG guys, they're very near and dear to my heart. I think they're all awesome, but I'm just a little bit worried for him, Nate. Because if you give HerO too much freedom, now HerO can go for Stargate once more. That's actually what it's going to be. So far XiGua his choice is alright. Of course, still don't pull a Tutming like Tutming did yesterday and go up to 64 workers. And
just only spam out drones.
0 upgrades, 0 units, Spore Crawler that's a little too late to the party, and no creep spread between your bases. Don't do that, XiGua, but yes, you will have a little bit of freedom. But we said it before, Nate. HerO has done this like sort of gateway all-in off the back of an Oracle multiple times. That's actually a pretty strong build. We see a Forge being wiped in, so that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, we've seen that. Who did it recently? That had that one. I think the Oracle into really heavy gateway push was Arium did it in his challenger match.
Yeah,
right?
Arium tried to do it twice. I think once it was successful, once it was a disaster, and he also and HerO did it. It's just like it's a silly all-in. I actually did it a couple of times as well in the old days. I used to do it with 2 Oracles. It was like before I started going with the Phoenix all-in. It's really good. It just dies against a lot of roaches. That's pretty much the only thing that kills it. But it's a really fun build. Because the Oracle forces out some Spore Crawlers.
Yeah, the
and
Zerg player's like, no, I'm safe. Now he's going to take a 3rd base and build 1 Void Rain. It's like, actually, no, I've got 7 gates finishing up right now.
It's a very fun all-in. It's one of those builds that's not very intense to execute, but you can get really, really good victories with it. So, for all you ambitious ladder nerds out there, open up with 1 Oracle and this gateway all-in behind it. It's pretty strong, I promise you.
Open up with an Oracle on 2 bases, by the way.
Yep.
1 base Oracle might be a little bit, ambitious.
Then you're kind of drizzling all over your own economy. You don't want to do that, guys. You want your economy to be flown.
We recently got to see a Protoss do that, though. This was 1 base.
Yeah,
1 base Sentry.
Oh my god. The gateway explosion is very, very real over here by
Do you like how these gateways are positioned?
I don't think it matters that much. I don't even think that HerO cares that much if XiGua scouts it. Obviously, he would like to not see him scouted, but this is one of the... With so many gateways, it's almost impossible to hide what you're doing anyway, so if an Overseer is gonna fly in, he's going to see what you do. So this is like almost similar to what we thought HerO was going to do. It's just a little different. It's going to hit a little later, but it is a lot stronger because he will have Blink, and of course Blink gives you a lot of micro potential.
That's right.
XiGua is a very good circular guy, so if he picks up on this in time, and he's actually going to scout everything, sees Twilight, sees 8 gates, XiGua's like, alright, cool, I need Hydralisk and I need them now.
Well,
because I want to beat you, and I'm Mr. Bane. That's what he's going to do next.
Mr. XiGua.
XiGua. You know XiGua means watermelon?
I
told you before.
And in a completely unrelated fact, I just got watermelon yogurt, man. So we're with the Illuminati is real.
Alrighty, 18 Zerglings, 10 Hydralisk on the way. He needs to just go. Oh, 65 drones, Nate. That's a lot of drones. He may have just slightly overdone it. HerO, of course, is going to try to push the issue as soon as possible. Has a couple of force fields to work with as well. A grand total of right now 6 force fields available. And he has Envision to push the creep back.
I love, because we used to talk about how important things like Burrow could be against big gateway pushes like this, but I love seeing, who was the other Protoss that also made good use of the Envision when he was pushing on the creep like this?
I don't know. I know that we spoke about it.
It was pretty recent, but anyway, this is really cool because he can do a good amount of pressure. The Hydralisks though, man. Hydras with the Zerglings coming in from behind, getting two of the sentries. Hydras are still really good in straight-up engagements if they can get the time, and without many more force fields, you could do it.
I feel this is going all right for XiGua. Now he has to be careful. I would say just pull your units back, wait for your Zerglings to spawn again. Just a few more Hydralisk is what the Chinese Zerg player needs, and if he gets that, he might just be able to hang in there, but it's gonna be tricky. A lot of the Stalkers are so low on HP donate, so often, once they start dying, they will all die, but so far, it's only the Hydralisk dying. HerO with the blinks.
HerO needs another couple of warp in. Some zealots are going to come in, which I really like to help deal with the drones and some of the lings.
XiGua's still hanging in there though, and HerO's supply is actually dwindling as well. The Mothership Core is going to get picked up. Hydra's going to have to retreat. Army supply 49 against 32. XiGua just needs all of his units to actually be here, and then he's in a really good position. Wow, what a hold.
He still has full saturation in his main and natural. He's starting a macro hatch. He's feeling incredibly comfortable. More lings come out. There's another blink away, and suddenly
he did lose the queen over here, so be careful, XiGua. Don't overextend, especially don't go off creep. I think the game you were talking about, by the way, was Seed versus Scarlet. That was such a phenomenal game on Nimbus, where they just kept fighting back and forth for like 7 minutes with Blink Stalkers versus Hydralisk. This is a little identical, but now it actually seems like the Hydralisk are doing a lot better than they were doing in that game. XiGua with the Beastly Macro, Nate.
Yeah, I think XiGua's
now fight, I think. Yeah, that's the forward blink, and that is the moment where HerO can't actually save his Stalkers. So XiGua is able to pick up so many of these Stalkers, and HerO is losing way too many gateway units over here, Nate, to make this still work. XiGua has officially defended this. He is stabilized. Not sure if HerO is going to leave the game or not, but I think he will. GG, XiGua evens up this series.
Well played, I have to say, considering the amount of drones that he had put out, considering how late it seemed that he was getting up to that tech off of his lair. Really impressive hold, lots of Hydralisks, and I think the Zergling backstab, he killed 2 full energy sentries. That's about 8 force fields, man. I think 8 force fields completely change how that fight goes.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. A couple of times you saw it as well. There were a few Hydralisks that really could have get zoned out, but HerO just, like, he was mostly relying on the Stalkers, and XiGua, he kept up to par with his injects, was spending every single penny that he was earning, and he was earning a lot of pennies of those 65 drones. So excellent crisis management. Of course, the scout helped as well, but I think on that point, if you're on 65 drones, you know, then you should just build nothing but units anyway, because it would be very, very stubborn to go any further than that. But XiGua, he was able to defeat HerO in Season 1, and now he's again giving him a small run for his money.
Those sentries dying right in the back there. It was hard for us to catch that, but man, just imagine if he can throw like 3 more force fields after those 3 end, and just keep cutting the Hydras in half.
Exactly, if he now loses 4 Hydralisk and he doesn't kill a Stalker, then it's almost game over. This was a very difficult hold for Zerg, but just also play. Look how close the army supply was, and with Blink Stalkers, you know, it's either like nothing dies or everything suddenly starts dying. And that one forward blink, that was definitely a wrong call by HerO. That's the forward blink where he was like, well, and even the drones were being pulled for a split second. Just an awesome game.
Yeah.
XiGua just keeps surprising us as well. Like, I feel that often his decisions in game are not the best, but his mechanics are very, very solid when in that department. He's a fast player, and
Yeah.
he's
A lot of
like
these
macro-wise,
Chinese,
he's good.
a lot of the Chinese Zergs, it's cool because
Yeah.
we have like different ways of almost profiling just the Chinese players themselves within their respective races, because the Chinese Protosses love the Phoenix Colossus against Terran players. They like to be really aggressive against Zergs, and they can usually play pretty standard PvP. And then the Chinese Zerg players, they seem to like aggression versus Terran, really heavy macro play versus Protoss. Like, they go absolutely nuts on the drones. And then I would assume ZVZ would be similarly standard play, but it's
ZVZs
cool.
are pretty crazy.
Oh, I haven't seen enough Chinese ZVZ.
No, but you're right.
It's just cool that they all have their own style.
It's definitely funny, and they have different strengths as well. But I feel that Jim and Max said, when we don't take the storm part into consideration, they often have very good game sense, and they will know when they can and cannot win a fight. While I feel that the Zerg players, Tutming and XiGua, are kind of lacking in that department, but make up for that in their awesome mechanics when playing Zerg. And that's something that I feel like, especially Max said, even though he's an awesome Protoss and really like him, like sometimes I feel like his macro slips a tiny bit, especially when there's a lot going on in the game. So it's like, man, if like all these Chinese could just transform into one person, then they would have one guy to win GS Code S now.
I mean, if we actually had the power to just, for people to do like the fusions.
Yep.
If Dragon Ball Z
if you would
style.
fuse XiGua with Jim, then I think that you have someone who can win GS Code S. You take all their best.
Okay, but one of them plays Protoss and the other one plays Zerg.
Yeah, that's why.
Do they become a Terran?
Probably.
Does he become the greatest Chinese Terran player ever to live?
That's possible. So they can pump out Marines and Marauders, but still have the Protoss calls too.
Yeah, they have the Protoss and Zerg knowledge to know how to deal with everything.
Exactly, and they will know how to defeat those races.
This sounds like a really cool.
Sounds like an awesome experiment.
We're gonna have our B-roll StarCraft movie.
Alrighty, both players are ready to go ahead and jump into game number 3, which is going to be played on Catalina. If XiGua wins this series, he will move on to the upper bracket match and play against Liquid Tasia. If he loses this series, he's gonna have to go up against Hendralisk, and of course then we will have our Liquid encounter in our winner bracket final. It's always fun to see HerO and Tasia go up against each other, and I must say, Nate, even though like I think both of them are favorites to make it out of this group regardless, if HerO would go up against Hendralisk or XiGua, especially XiGua, I think it can get tricky for him, because HerO sometimes, as amazing as he is, he just makes things so complicated for himself. I feel sometimes he should just go for simple wins and just rely on the fact that he's freaking Liquid HerO and he's really good at StarCraft.
Yeah, that's usually not a bad strategy.
No, not at all. We can go ahead and hop into Catalina as game number 3 is live between these two awesome StarCraft 2 players. And of course, it's Korea versus China in WCS America. Both nations will already be represented in the round of 16. As of course, we have plenty of Koreans that qualified. Players like Hyun, players like Big Baby, players like Hart. But we have our first Chinese player qualified as well, as Jim is going to make a reappearance to WCS America round of 16. First time Jim will be making it out to Burbank, as he only made it in 2013. And back then, we were playing either in Rancho Cucamonga or in Santa Monica.
Yep.
Now it's time for Burbank. We're gonna show Jim that
Getting
WCS America has grown.
You've seen the outskirts of LA. You've seen the heart of it. Get the suburb type area now. So this is gonna be an interesting final game of this series. Of course, in the bottom right, the blue Protoss. He is from Team Liquid. And I haven't been keeping too many tabs on him, but his opponent in the left's position, representing Invictus Gaming, he is XiGua.
XiGua once more going hedge first, Nate. I'd be a little bit shocked if he's gonna go double hedge before pool once more. I feel that that's an opening you only want to do so many times against someone like HerO, until he will just either 4-gate you or 1-gate fast expand and then 4-gate and just out-macro you, or out-micro you, especially if you keep delaying your speed. So I think it's relatively smart that XiGua is going to follow this up with a spawning pool in his main base. As much as I love the double hedge before pool opening, especially against Nexus first and stuff, it's cool. But if you're not sure if you're playing against Nexus first and whatnot, and he didn't drone scout this time, so he couldn't know, I really prefer to see him just go 1 hedge before pool. It just gives me more safety feeling, Nate.
Yeah,
Keeps me through the night.
I can see what you're saying. He will scout very quickly that it's a gateway opening, but with that pool on the way, you know, it won't be seeing quite the crazy build. It's interesting because players like HerO, and I think to even maybe a greater extent, Tasia, like when you play against them and you're the underdog, right? We look at XiGua, yeah, we know he's good, but on paper, this is a series that HerO would win.
That's what we said in Season 1 as well, though.
But the thing is, HerO's not Jim. Like, HerO just doesn't come off to me as the kind of player that even if you went for a lot of double hatch firsts or hatch firsts, like, he seems like he's the guy that would be super unlikely to forgate you, even if he knew you were going to go double hatch.
Yeah, you may make a solid point there, Nate. I can't really disagree with you in that department.
It's one of the reasons why I like Jim. He's
yeah.
Like, hey man,
Jim is like the absolute no-nonsense Protoss.
You gonna go double hatch before pool against me?
That's why I really like Jim, because Jim does not care about how ugly his victories are, but he doesn't have to do it. Like, Jim can play the fancy style of Protoss as well. He has given us a lot of very cool high-level play, but he can also play the absolute ugliest version of Protoss.
Reminds me of SOS, man. He does all these builds. Everyone's like, I can't believe how cheesy that guy is. And then SOS is like, well, I mean, I just won 200 grand, so you're telling me it's the wrong way to play?
Yeah, and it's really funny as well. And then some people are like, man, SOS, if it wasn't for his cheesy builds, he's really not all that good. And then he just opens one gate carrier against one of the best Terrans that's like dominating the European scene, Jugchi, and he's like, well, if you just tune in to Intox Masters Sao Paulo, or no, it wasn't Sao Paulo. What tournament was that where SOS was defeating Jugchi with carriers?
That didn't happen in like the lower bracket of Katowice?
There was no lower bracket in Katowice.
No, I mean like before the finals. No, Jugchi lost to
I don't think
Revival, was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Where did I think
I think it was. It was the Altazim Stronghold. He played versus Jugchi because Jugchi made that sick comeback against. Yeah, because all the Mutalisks hit like 2 mines or something. And Revival was supposed to win.
Yeah,
but he lost anyway.
I see. Yeah, it's like, well, so he's just making carriers and Colossus.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's no way he can lose unless he flies into a bunch of Widow mines, and he did. So
maybe this SOS guy is pretty good after all, despite his cannon rushes and whatnot. So Roger 1 going down in the back of the natural of XiGua, as of course right now all eyes will be on XiGua and Liquid's HerO. Robotics facility warped in 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Yesterday we saw Seed bring out a very, very interesting build on Catalina, Nate. For the people who missed it, shall we talk about it?
I mean, you probably understand it a lot better than I do.
No, I do not understand that build. He made one Immortal.
He made one Immortal in 12 centuries?
11 or 12 centuries. A War Prism, and he had we called
Jason the Juggernaut Immortal, man.
Yes, we called him Jason the Juggernaut. Some people on Twitter actually wrote me into broadcast, why did you call him Jason? And then they said something else. They made some really smart reference, I guess. It's like, guys, when you listen to my broadcast, whatever reference you think was smart is most of the time not the case. 9 out of 10 times will just be a very lame, cheesy, hip-hop mainstream reference. And I said that the Immortal was riding solo, so that's why I called him Jason, because of Jason Derulo.
Oh my god.
Someone gave me
I can't believe I played into that. I didn't even notice.
Someone gave me like some really sick reference, like Jason something something from like the middle, like from the 16th century, or like
I was gonna say
Death
you could,
Valley or something.
If you hadn't, if we hadn't thrown in Juggernaut so quickly, we could have gone with Jason as one of the Argonauts. But that's about as deep as my my historical references go.
Oh, he's gonna do it, Jason! Jason is back, Nate. All right, so this is the exact same build as he did yesterday.
Legend tells of Catalina, one hero who holds the map to his own claim.
This is like the upgraded version of parting Immortal Sentry all in, of Jim like Immortal Zealot, of Naniwa pure Zealot with 2 Immortals. Well, here we go, Nate.
Oh man,
the hype is real. 12 Sentry, 1 Immortal. Jason Derulo. Look at this Immortal. He's like, everybody's looking for a love.
No one's looking for Immortal. I don't think that's the kind of love XiGua wants right now.
All right, so XiGua has a Spire on the way and a lot of Spine Crawlers. That's actually really smart because Sentries are not great against Spine Crawlers. Immortals are, but Immortals is now Immortal minus the S. And he's going to counterattack as well. I kind of like this approach from XiGua a lot. XiGua, if you go for it now, no! There was no cannon yet.
The cannon's not done yet, man. Go. Oh, you want? No.
Oh my! I actually really like how this is going for XiGua, Nate. I think he's going to murder. Okay, you can recall. HerO can recall, and I think he should recall.
Yeah, I mean that third base.
If you don't recall HerO, you're in so much trouble. But he's gonna lose sentries now. The roaches can stand on top of the sentries.
The Lings are on top of the sentries. Well, that's not good.
It's still good for XiGua regardless or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the Muda switch is going.
HerO.
Yeah, and the Muda switch is going to be devastating. I'm afraid that Jason is not going to be able to make the difference this time.
Yeah, Jason's on cleanup duty now, man. He got demoted to janitor getting these roaches out of his base.
This is like, hey,
I wanted to go. I wanted to explore and conquer. And instead, they told me, clean up these Lings off the gateway.
All right, so there are still 40 probes, and like, if XiGua would be on hatchery tag with just Zerglings and roaches, yeah, HerO would still have a shot. But what he won't have a shot against is breaking all these spines. Oh boy! And above all, you know, these Mutalisks that are going to ravage his mineral line.
That's what you do when you play mono battles and you get Mutalisk. You just have 100 spine crawlers covering the entrance.
And this is really bad because HerO has no Blink Stalkers, HerO has no Stargate. I don't even think HerO has a Photon Overcharge. He has one, but it's so far out of position.
That's a very long-range Photon Overcharge to throw.
Okay, so I think what HerO knows that if this goes into a macro game, he can never win anymore. So he's just gonna have to all in, and he's gonna find the unpleasant surprise of 7 Spinecrawler. This is like the guy from Dexter. Surprise!
Yeah.
Supplies, spine, and
Here's
fries.
some spines.
Some spines. But that was good, man. That was good.
You know, Jason, we know Jason lifts, but I don't think he can lift this many spines.
All right, so another recall is being used, but HerO has already actually, he didn't lose that many workers yet, but it's just a matter of time before he will lose. All of the
man, these stalkers are not cutting it. He doesn't have a Twilight, he can't get Blink, he doesn't have a third base.
I'm so jelly you're able to make that work. I was looking for a way to fit in that without obviously, you know, going for the bad words. And then you got it, Nate. Some spines.
I got your back.
Alrighty, digging it. War Prism gets picked off as well. XiGua right now on 62 drones against 35 probes of HerO. Absolutely in the driver's seat, and I don't know where HerO can. Like,
yeah, this is.
You can't do. I don't think he can do anything.
Like at this point, XiGua can't afford to trade pretty poorly with his Zerglings as long as he keeps killing stuff because HerO he's broke.
Yep.
He's building 3 cannons on 2 bases.
Okay, this is like kind of an okay move from HerO. HerO is just gonna be like, all right, I still can't go up to Twilight or Stargate because I'm just too far behind economically. By the time I do that, you're gonna have 40 Mutalisks and 6 bases. So I'm gonna let you kill 1 base. I'm gonna protect the other base with Cannon, Photon Overcharge, and then I'm gonna try to win the game with my Gateway push, which is still a bad plan, but it's the least bad plan out of all the bad plans that are given.
He's forced to choose between the lesser of 2 evils.
Yes.
And they're both like prime evils at this point.
Yep. You know, the HerO has no right decision, and I can understand that he went for this. If he would have done this the first time before the second recall, then I think that this could have worked. But he didn't know back then that Mutalisks were on the field yet, so it's unfair to make that call. Again, XiGua is going to counterattack. His counterattacks have been relentless. And yeah, HerO might pick off his base, but there is another base over here on the top side of the map.
Those drones have already made it out, man.
There are still some spines as well.
Lots of spines. And the Nexus is gone. He's shut down, I believe this is most of the production now, right? He only has 1 gate in that wall. 2 gates, okay.
There's 4 gateways powered, but...
Can he even afford to warp in off of them?
Yeah, that's a good question. And these Mutalisks are going to work their way through all these cannons. So the cannons will go down, and HerO knows it doesn't really matter how he's going to approach this game anymore. It won't make a difference. So XiGua surprisingly defeats HerO in the first best of 3 of WCS America round of 32. Now, of course, there is still that scenario that they will play against each other again, but we can't go that far. We can't get that far ahead of ourselves because Henrilisk is a very strong and scary Zerg as well. So HerO right now is going to have to go up against Henrilisk in the next series. Well, XiGua is looking at the bare near impossible task of defeating Tasia, but Tasia has been defeated before in the round of 32. And actually has been defeated in almost every round in WCS America, as he has never won this tournament. Doesn't change that he's an absolute monster and a beast.
You still don't want to play.
No.
If you get to pick anybody, I think Tasia might be at the very bottom of the list of players you would want to pick.
Yep, pretty much. There are maybe a couple of Zest and Rains and Flashes out there. But
I meant like WCS America.
Okay, now in WCS America, he's pretty much number 1 player you don't want to play. Even though of course Bomber, Pig Baby, Jaedong, HerO as well, Shun. You know, there are a lot of amazingly good players. Scarlet even is supposed to be part of that list of names as well, I think. But Tasia is so scary. Either way, Really good game by XiGua, man. That is one way to shut down a 2-base all-in. Just counterattack.
It was really, really good. I think he also really used the way that Catalina is set up. There's so many different ways to go for the backstabs on armies like that. There's so many high ground positions you can run down into that natural from. So just solid play overall.
Yep.
And that does mean that since HerO lost that series, he's going to fall to our lower bracket match where he will face off against Hendrilisk in our next series of the day. Guys, you're watching WCS America Premier League Group G. We'll be right back with that next series after this short commercial break.